Grand Rising Loves. This is the altar spread for the collective today and New Year's Eve. So this is beautiful for the last day of 2020. This whole spread is about grounding and being still today. And I love that for the last day of the year, because the last day of the year should really be a reflection moving into the next year. And I really don't believe in making resolutions, and because really you should be constantly reinventing yourself. And so making resolutions is like very old paradigm and expired shit. You should be holding yourself accountable in every experience. So this is every moment becoming authentically you, not editing, and a constant working on self. And I know that that's really intense for people and very rare. I say it all the time, and it's not a cockiness and conceit when I say I'm the most conscious person I know. It's truth. And anyone who shares space with me can also attest to that. No one holds themselves more accountable than I do. And I am very good at instant communication. So I don't think before I speak. It comes through me. And I am always in that space of expressing spirit. I know when the ego creeps in, and it's in relationship and with my kids. And it has become so small with my kids. And it's becoming smaller in intimacy. And I am so grateful for the experiences that I've had in 2020 to really help whittle away at those, because I needed those experiences to be so aware of that. Because you need the tougher experiences to be aware. And it's so important. And no, we don't integrate the ego. We destroy the ego. The ego is an impediment. It's a disease. And so now into this last day of 2020, we are in stillness. So June Companions talks about the transition, the stages of growth, how we are this tiny little pupal stage, and then we become the caterpillar, and then we go into the chrysalis, the cocoon, and then we are birthed into these beautiful beings, and that's the graduation. But it showed up in the reverse. So in the reverse, it says you are in the cocoon. Now, when you are in the cocoon, just like the butterfly, if you force the birthing, you won't be able to fly. And you can actually meet imminent destruction. So stillness is meant to be still. There has to be a deeper awareness in the stillness. It's like a rebirthing process. And that process of rebirthing, you have to review, and then the introspect happens. What do I allow to die here in this stillness? What can I not take into this flight? Because it'll be just too weighty. And I love that this showed up. So really, be still. Be still. It doesn't mean don't join festivities. It doesn't mean physically still. It means spiritually still. Be aware. Be aware. Be so aware that you are not repeating expired experiences, expired behaviors, expired mindset, expired emotion. That's what it means. That's what the stillness is. And I love that awareness. And so the standstill also showed up in reverse. So standstill talks about the receiving, but in the reverse, it's saying that you're stuck and that you actually have to name that thing that is stopping you because you have become oblivious. And so, have you become oblivious? Sometimes we can ignore the harder choices. And so we think if I ignore it, it'll just go away or correct itself. Well, it won't. That's the purpose of the human experience. This is like greater than any Ivy League university you can attend. We are being refined so that we can return to a unity consciousness. And you chose to exist during this time. And if you're watching this video, that means you're already a higher level of awareness and consciousness. And so hopefully you're understanding this. If you don't understand it, reach out to me so that we can have this conversation. But being oblivious is actually your impediment. And so in that cocoon, that introspect, that's what standstill is also asking you to do. And so the earth showed up, groundedness. It's not even a stone. It's straight up like root yourself into this experience, into this earth experience. And so we choose being human again, and again, because the experience is so sensual. In spirit, we don't get all the feels. Being human, we get all the feels. So even in our deepest sorrow, we're still feeling. And that's why we do it. But the sublime, of course, is always what makes it delicious. Not the hardships, right? So Earth is asking you to really anchor yourself in your humanness. And that's really good also for the June companions in reverse and the standstill in reverse. Anchor yourself in your humanness. And when you do that, it really does start to surface the feels. And then moving into abuela medicine, the remedy of our grandmothers, this is talking about like the medicine of connecting to nature. It's not talking about plant medicine like ayahuasca, peyote, and psilocybin and Mary Jane. A lot of people use those as crutches, and they just don't adhere to the sacred practices that need to be respected in those. And a lot of people think that that's like a fast track to ascension, and it's not. I will say this again, and I will say it every time it comes up. It is a window, not a doorway. You get to have glimpses into spirit, and you are meant to take that into your daily practice, because really the only way to transcend the physical body is in the nakedness of just you in full communion with self. And you can't do that using any kind of crutch. You can't do that using any kind of crutch. You can't do that using any kind of crutch. And plant medicine is a crutch. It allows you to temporarily lay down the ego, and it shows you your fears. It shows you your impediments, and you get to experience that, sometimes brutally, sometimes beautifully. But it is not the gateway into transcendence. It is only a glimpse. And there's so many people that I talk to that swear they are transcended, they are awakened after having those experiences. And I can feel the increase of ego in that. And it's interesting because when I have these conversations with those people, they are more rigid than religious people. And it's the corruption that happened in the Mayan community as well. And I have full soul memory of that corruption that they believe themselves more worthy because of experiences that they had in ceremony. And they started sacrificing those that were less aware. And I can honestly hear that kind of behavior in those people, most especially psilocybin people. Not so much the ayahuasca, peyote, but definitely, the shroom users, like the ones that are like constantly using. And I send them compassion, because they will be lost also, because that ego is dead weight, and it is an impediment. It is an impediment. You're meant to take that into a daily practice of you nakedly with yourself in communion. Can you do that? Can you do that without the crutch? And that's the real awakened state. The awareness without any type of assistance. That's the true awakened state. And so really it's a constant bringing back to self in every moment, having that awareness of yourself. You can't go through your day being judgmental and egotistical and rigid and just unkind and believe yourself more ascended or worthy or wiser. It's just not a truth. It actually prevents unity consciousness, and it's sad. So I actually had someone say that, no, I'm not even gonna say it. So that's it. That's the spread for today. Be still. Be aware of you. Be aware of you. Rock with me. Rocking with you. Rock with me. Rocking with you. Thank you. I love you. Be connected. Be connected to the trees, to the rocks, to the elements of water and wind and fire and earth. That is Abuela medicine. That's Abuela medicine. Knowing that every breath you take is harnessing the sacred power of wind in your lungs. That every time you feel passion, that is the awakening of the sacred power of fire in your guts. Knowing that every time you give yourself permission to be sensual and a powerful sexual being, that's the immense power of water moving through your cells. And every time you recognize yourself in everything that is earth, grounding you in the human experience and humbling you to compassion. That's the purpose of the human experience. To know that everything that is you. You can't escape that. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.